begin the felicitation ceremony, so requesting you all to kindly take your seats. Those of you in the exhibition area, requesting you all to kindly assemble here at the conference area. We have a special felicitation ceremony right now to two of the industry stalwarts who pioneered the contract manufacturing industry in India. And you really don't want to miss this. So those of you still in the exhibition area, requesting your presence in the conference area. A warm welcome to each and every one of you present here. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now have a special felicitation ceremony to two of the industry stalwarts who pioneered the contract manufacturing industry in India. I would like to invite on stage one and only founder of CMPL, Mr. Vicky Menezes, to please join me on stage to address us all and say a few words. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, we can do better than that. A huge round of applause for him.
Good afternoon, everyone. I guess most of us haven't had our lunch yet. So that's the reason there's a slow clap. Firstly, a big welcome to each one of you for taking time out and joining us at CMPL and supporting us in this initiative. Just to give you all a background, before we talk about two of our senior industry leaders, CMPL as a journey, it was a dream project which I had in mind about 2017, 2018. India never had this kind of a platform to connect contract manufacturers with brand owners who were looking for manufacturing partners. So the whole idea was to build an organized platform where we could get leading industry players joining hands, converging under one single roof. We started off with a small venue called Nehru Center, which is, compared to this palatial venue, it's pretty small. As a bootstrap company, that's when we started off in 2019 as our first edition, and with my brief interaction with Alok in 2020 onwards, he was one of the first ones to support this initiative, along with, I guess, Robin had visited our 2019 edition as well from Vanity Case. So these were our visitors who tried to understand what we were trying to do. We had about 35 exhibitors when we started off in 2019. 2020, we built down to about 108 exhibitors. COVID happened. It was a boon for most of us in the contract manufacturing industry, wherein retailers, brand owners suddenly realized that they now have a point of contact to connect with, to find manufacturing partners. When the lockdown happened, as most of you all know, the organized retail was shut. So retailers started connecting with us, asking for connects within the industry who could help them build their brands in no time. We connected them with manufacturers who were already associated with us, and we got them on board, connecting them directly one-on-one. It was a win-win situation for the industry. We moved on in the last couple of years with COVID. As you've seen, we've built on size. CMPL was no longer a smaller kind of a trade show. From 35 exhibitors in 2019 to close to about 300 exhibitors in 2023. I guess we have indeed come along a long way. So a great thanks to our exhibitors, firstly, who have trusted in what me and my team are trying to do together, and the industry, of course, who've also joined us in attending this show in large numbers and supporting this initiative. So just to kind of rephrase, or kind of, as the session suggests, it's a very special felicitation to two of our industry leaders who started the contract manufacturing trend in India. From nail polishes, Yogesh Korani ji, who has tremendous expertise with his entire business knowledge and expertise back in the day, wherein with my brief interaction with him, he mentioned about, how contract manufacturing was seen as, bahar walo ko dena, wo, it's like, wo niche wale products hai, jo यूजेज में नहीं होता है वो जो छोटे मोटे लोग कर सकते हैं, to having about 300 exhibitors here showcasing, their manufacturing expertise. I guess that indeed, is a contrasting picture of what was and where we are today. So let me begin with inviting Yogesh Korani ji first from Clarion. The next gentleman is Mr. Ravi Kamat. Ravi Kamat ji is another industry leader. I'm not sure who's younger or older. One is 72 and the other one is 27, I guess. So that's for them to figure out. But he's the one man who started off, back in the day. Sir, please, with Unilever. And, today Alok is doing great with Maxima Solutions as well. So the next generation kind of takes on. From the leaders from then to a couple of leaders from now, in the brick and mortar business, we have Hindustan Coca-Cola Beverages, Hindustan Unilever. We've got Abhishek Haritwal, who handles, the 3P packaging for them. He's going to join us on stage as well to felicitate them. And Nilesh Salati from Mensa Brands, CFO for Mensa Brands, one of the leading e-commerce players today. Please. So Yogesh ji and Ravi ji, I'd like you to begin the session by giving us an insight of what the industry was back then, like we just briefly mentioned in the aisles, to the transformation that you've seen over the last 20, 30 years.
Yogesh ji, though I am senior in the industry, you are more senior, so please make a beginning.
Namaste. In fact, it is not only I, let me say that, it is with me, Mr. Lakshman is there. He is not there accidentally here today, he is in Chennai. But our generation next is here. Raghu, Ravi, Ankur and all are there. I want to say what was the earlier contract manufacturing would have been considered. It was considered कि okay भाई इसको बंदे को किसी कुछ काम दे दो बना के दे देगा अपने को. But we were not disheartened with that. We said चलो कुछ तो काम मिल रहा है. But in the process, let me say that I thanks to all our customers कि they have taught us what is the standard and how you should do it. It was not that earlier कि कोई गैरेज में खोल के बैठ के कुछ भी बना के दे दो और कस्टमर ले लेगा. उन्होंने सिखाया कि तुमको कैसे बनाना है, क्या स्टैंडर्ड रखना है, क्या क्वालिटी स्टैंडर्ड रखना है, कैसे मैन्युफैक्चरिंग स्टैंडर्ड रखना है. एंड आई थैंक्स टू देम फॉर दैट. बट टुडे अभी देखते हुए मेरे को लगता है कि वी आर वर्किंग ऑन ए what is called 286 or something like that. And today it is days of some supercomputer or something, the way I am looking at it. And it is mind-boggling. And I thanks Mr. Vicky to organize such a nice thing and to present it us very nicely, what is there today. And looking at the young generation, which I am looking at it, I think so this industry will go where to where, and which ultimately benefit to the all brand owner and brand customers. I thank you very much for your allowing me to speak 1 minute. And my senior will speak much better because he has struggled a lot also with us. And he can also say what is happening in the industry.
Thanks, Yogesh.
Thank you, Yogesh.
Again, good afternoon, everybody. And thanks for this opportunity to be here and present what we feel the contract manufacturing industry has grown. Like Yogesh said, yes, contract manufacturing back then in the 80s was a sort of a glorified word for job worker.
Correct.
You are the back-end people, like Mr. Yogesh said, इनको कुछ काम दे दो. With me, it was exactly like that. I am an ex-Johnson & Johnson employee. Tried to venture into something and then with the good wishes of our friends back in Johnson. Unknown devil is better than unknown, chalo isse kuch kaam karao.
Correct.
So those were the days we were contract manufacturing, and frankly, it's very, very heartening and exciting to see the show that we are seeing today, the leaps and bounds that contract manufacturers as a industry have grown. And frankly, like Yogesh said, again, it's thanks to, yes, some efforts from us, and mostly from all our brand owners. Like we worked a lot with Unilever, Abhishek is here. They have taught us, and it's only because they taught and we were, let's say, good students. We are seeing what we are seeing today, and contract manufacturing has become such a prestigious
Correct.
job rather than just a back end. And Vicky, to add to it, the way you have done this exhibition is mind-blowing, growing. The contract manufacturing, CMPL, the second part of it, private label, is what I suppose has given a more impetus to people like us. And it's great to see this, very frank. And again, I thank Samir for taking this initiative, for bringing us here. And Samir had we were discussing, and he says, Kamat Sahab he calls me Kamat Sahab for some reason. So Kamat Sahab, is it really so grand? I said, yes. I mean, today, yes, contract manufacturer is grand, private label is grand. But a little word of caution maybe. Let's understand we are not brands. So we got to be a little cautious. While doing all this, we got to be aware that we have to be very, very careful of every penny that we spend and every penny that we earn. That's only a word of caution, not a caution, but care that the future young generation should take. And of course, we have to showcase what we are doing, so such grand shows are essential. That's all.
Thank you. In fact, Ravi, just to add to what you said, the name contract manufacturing has also, I guess, transformed to collaborative manufacturing now, because that's what's mentioned in Abhishek's business card as well.
Yes.
So we're all collaborators to try and build a brand.
True.
Abhishek, you'd like to put in some thoughts on the transformation that you've seen?
Thanks. So first of all, thanks. And this is my first visit to CMPL. I'm actually, overwhelmed with the kind of response and the turnout that we have seen here today. For us, as Mr. Thorani and Mr. Kamat has put, contract manufacturing at one point of time was, towards the periphery, right? We used to go as a job worker. It was mostly a work of job working that we used to outsource. And there was always I would say, an equation, whether so we used to have a filtering criteria that what all things, essentially all non-core activities related to manufacturing, packaging, kitting was the activity that we used to outsource. But now, with Unilever, and I think that's true for most of the FMCG company, contract manufacturing is the core of what we do in supply chain. It is the center of what we do in supply chain. And the first step towards it was also for us to, rename and reshape that entire perception of what we expect out of contract manufacturers and partners like the ones who are present here. And that's how we recoined the name from contract manufacturing to collaborative manufacturing, because that's what we really mean to do, that we want to work hand in hand, hand in gloves, and really jointly uplift this entire ecosystem, because private label, I think, compared to the Western worlds, we are still at a very nascent stage. So there's a significant headroom for all of us to grow together. And now we are at a juncture, thanks to the capabilities that, some of the big players have built. We are at a juncture where, in many cases, we want to hear from the contract manufacturers that, what do you think? What is something that we can learn from you? So I think the entire, there has been a paradigm shift, so to say, in the last decade or so, and I'm sure this is just, this is just a rising kind of an industry, and there's really a long way to go. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Abhishek. Nilesh, your thoughts on the transformation that you've seen?
Yeah, it's thanks, Vicky. Thank you, sir. It's very interesting. I was just sitting here and reflecting. Uh, One of the things which always gets associated with contract manufacturing is you will get it cheaper, correct? Sasta aa jayega. Cost effectiveness is what is the first thing that gets spoken about. But if I go back and I've 25 years of work experience, I also started my career with levers. If I go back in time, actually, uh, wheel became successful and surf could be defended against Nirma's attack, okay, because of contract manufacturing. Okay, so it's not just the cost side. Okay, the entire category and the building of brand actually happened on the flexibility, on the cost advantage, on the fact that you could do manufacturing in multiple locations and you didn't need to have concentrated plants in one location. So the entire sort of success of the brand beyond cost actually has sort of hinged and been carried on the shoulders of the contract manufacturing ecosystem. Uh, and it's interesting that in a way, Vicky, it continues, okay? But the game has become different now, okay? Because it is now the small D2C brands, okay, which are taking on the Davids.
Correct.
Okay, so while levers use contract manufacturing to nip into bud the Nirma attack, it's become the opposite side today, okay, where smaller brands are saying, hey, you know what, distribution has got democratized through Amazon and Flipkart, and media has got democratized through YouTube, etc. So can I really get the agility of the contract manufacturing ecosystem to actually go back and take on a Unilever and to take on a L'Oreal? And therefore, I think in that sense, there is a lot which is, in my mind, different, and at the same time, there's a lot which is similar. Because, as you rightly pointed out, this is not about manufacturing, it is about playing a role in brand building. And I think there are a lot of wars which have been fought and won, okay, because of this ecosystem. That would be sort of my reflection on the whole thing. Yeah?
Sure.
But thank you, sir. Thank you for all your sort of support in this journey.
Thank you, Yogesh ji and Ravi ji, for being an inspiration and for guiding each one of us, I guess, with your own creativity and expertise over the years to where we see CMPL as a platform and getting the entire industry together. So I wouldn't take much of your time. Thank you so much for spending some time. I'd like Nilesh and Abhishek to quickly do the honors by felicitating our two industry stalwarts, please. Can I have? Nilesh, you can. Nilesh, if you just hand this to Yogesh ji, please. Yogesh ji, this is a sign of our thanks to you. Unko, give it to him. Abhishek, for Ravi ji, please. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'll just take a quick group. Let's take a quick group photograph, sir. I guess you'll have to meet it. Thank you.